Welcome back to the Hobby Chop Podcast. This is the podcast for the people. I am Big Ken. He is Zip. Zip, how you doing, my friend?
Doing well. We're shooting this the night after that Thursday live with Adam and Dan. So shout out to those guys. Thanks for coming on. That was a blast last night.
Yeah, great episode.
Yep.
Appreciate them coming on, and it's given us some new ideas for some future episodes. So stay tuned for that. Always, calling audibles here. Just like today's episode, right? Happy Friday. This is actually Friday. We're recording this. I'm supposed to be on vacation next week, flying out Sunday morning. We're expecting a blizzard. I think my plane could take off before the storm arrives. I just don't know where my plane is coming from, if it'll make it here for me to get on, since the rest of the country is going to be under an inch of ice and blizzard conditions and all kinds of stuff. So who knows? I could be right here Sunday recording another episode, or I'll be away in the sunny 80-degree weather while everybody's dealing with the blizzard.
Yeah, I hope for your sake you make it out and you get some sun. That would be good. Yeah. Get away from that. Good time to leave.
Yeah, I could watch on my Ring cameras. watch the storm.
Sure could.
Yeah. So happy Friday. We're going to get started. We'll jump right into it today. I mean, right. I said to you this morning, I read this little article of, it was labeled why Ohtani's cards could be a dangerous investment in 2026. And of course, you're the guy I've been talking to who's talked a lot that you're big on him. You're buying a lot of his cards. You have a pretty good investment in him. And they gave three reasons. I mean, I'll start with reason number one, and we'll just work our way down. The first one was there's a massive overabundance of Ohtani cards. I think today's day and age, right, there's a massive abundance of everybody's cards. But you had a different angle on it, so
yeah, I mean there is an abundance, like you said, there's abundance of all of these ultra modern cards and sets, but he may have the most demand out of anyone, like in any sport, maybe Jordan has more of a demand, but like other than Ohtani, like I don't know who has more of a demand, honestly. And it's like a good explanation of that was there's this year and last year of Heritage. There's like these non-numbered blue speckle cards, and they're like, I don't know, they're like they should be like $5-10, but they're like a color match with his Dodgers, so they end up going for like $20-30 raw. And in a 10, they're like $350. Like they're crazy. And it's just like that card to me is like in a nutshell, the Ohtani market of just like people can't get enough of them. And then like when I went to go search on eBay, they're like a non-numbered common parallel, like in retail boxes.
Yeah.
I can't even find those cards like on eBay, like the raw ones. Like they're like a handful, but like they're not rare. And it's just like I think like he's just kind of breaks the like he's the exception to a lot of rules, I think.
Mm-hmm. And you know what's interesting too is they put him up there, and a lot of times in this article they're not comparing him or putting him right there with Babe Ruth, saying like the greatest players of all time, and then they start talking about different how many numbered of this and how many numbered and PSA 10s and how many of those, what's the pop count? And they go through all that. But when they get down to the one of his, they said they're it's in the thousands of how many one of one cards of his. And do you think that hurts the market at all, having that many? And I think that's probably similar to any other player out there today, right? The way they've produced these cards. I mean, nobody puts out any more, one-on-ones than Leaf. It's like every card.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a hierarchy to it, to the one-on-ones.
Yeah.
And obviously, Chris Hoge has done an excellent job documenting the Jordan 1-of-1s, the hierarchy. Like, for example, there's not going to be an affordable Jordan 1-of-1, and there's way more Ohtani 1-of-1s than Jordan 1-of-1s. Don't get me wrong. But like, there's not going to really be an affordable Ohtani 1-of-1 that's licensed. And I don't know, are there like cheap Patrick Mahomes 1-of-1s? Like, I don't know. I think it's just the caliber of the play. Exactly. I just think it's the caliber of the player that like determines, like the importance of the 1-of-1s. Cause like there are 1-of-1s of a lot of guys that you can get for under $50, under $30, right? Like, and it's because of the caliber of player.
Yeah.
So I ultimately think that is what it is, but also like probably any of Ohtani's 1-of-1s, if they hit the market, would be like aggressively pursued, regardless of what it is.
Mm-hmm. Or would anything even low numbered? Could we even say that, like not even 1-of-1, but low numbered? Could we say that about?
Yes, we could. That was a decent segue into an example I have. So I have an infatuation for the Topps Chrome Gold refractors. Okay. They're out of 50, so they're not like a Prism Gold out of 10. They're more attainable just by a number standpoint. And however, they're still gold. People love gold, and they look great. They have a great lineage for sports cards. And when I think of Ohtani's market, I really think a lot of Messi's market and the boom it's had. Granted, those two are at different stages of their career. The crazy thing about Ohtani is he's a Hall of Famer already, like first ballot, and he's entering his prime. He's 31. He's 31 years old. So I'll share my screen really quick here. And I wanted to share. They're roughly similar timelines. So let me know, Ken, when it's is it sharing?
Yep.
Okay, great. So this is I didn't use the 2017 Topps Chrome Gold Refractor. I have a Messi 2018 Topps Chrome UEFA Champions League Gold Refractor PSA 10. So what I pulled up here, I pulled this card up because I didn't want to use the 2017 because that's the first Champions League Topps Chrome. So, that stuff could get a little weird being a debut set. And for the same reason, with the Ohtani card, I don't have his rookie. I have his second-year card, which is also the second year of this UEFA Topps Chrome. So if you're looking at November 2025, there were two sales of this, one at 9,800, one at 9,000. And this is out of 50. This is not a rookie of Messi. This is just a gold Topps Chrome refractor. And then in September of 2025, it did 11,000. Now, I want you to look at this, Ken, right? I have this sale up. It is from December 22nd of 2023, right after they won the World Cup, right after Argentina won the World Cup. And look what that card did. This is right after his biggest, arguably his biggest achievement, World Cup. And it did $1,897. Okay. And that card has essentially, like, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So it's like 5x. It's crazy, right? But I also think I know, yeah. I think it matters too that it's a PSA 10 and it's a true gold. I think that is a sort of card that matters. And while there is there's an amount of them as 50, which is not necessarily rare nowadays, it's that color that is highly collectible. So let's look at Ohtani. So, and I love this because look at this sale. There's a sale of Ohtani.
You probably have to bring it up, right?
I have to share this tab instead. I apologize.
Yeah, go ahead.
It should be popping up now. I didn't realize I had to click that. Okay. So most recent sale of a 2019 Topps Chrome Shohei Ohtani Gold Refractor PSA 10. Number to 50, just like Messi.
Yep.
It did 7,500 in December, this past December. And January 5th, 2024, which is less than a month after that, Messi did 1,800. This, a PSA 10 True Gold, Ohtani did $1,030. So it was a 7.5x of this Ohtani Gold. What's great about this, Ken, too, is it's pretty much the exact same timeline, correct? Like that's it's about as close as you're gonna get of same sort of parallels, a year off of respective goats in their in their journey. So I use that example because I would argue that on certain parallels of Ohtani, there is still significant long-term growth for those to happen. Like maybe that card, that gold PSA 10 I just showed, maybe that should be like a $10,000 card, not a $7,500 card. Mm-hmm. And I just think with those guys and how iconic they are in their global market, you have important cards that they don't have to be rookies. But I think like a true gold or a true orange or a true red, obviously I think the superfractors are unattainable for 99% of the population. Let's be honest here. Yep. We talk about these things as expensive or cheap, and that's all relative terms to sports cards. These things are ridiculously expensive for what they are. They have no real world use for us of function. So, but with that being said, I think if you start comparing Ohtani and certain key cards like that, I mean that's a pretty good 1-to-1 comparison, right? Yeah. So when I found that I was just looking into that last week, and basically what I think is kind of interesting is okay, so that's the true gold, and that could price a ton of people out already. What about Ohtani's nice chrome inserts and things like that are gold? You can find those under $500 pretty regularly.
And do you think that being under $500 pretty regularly, do you think moving into this next season, depending on what he does, there's a lot of room for growth of those?
So this season coming up is really interesting. So you have the Dodgers, they could three-peat, okay? Yeah. And then before the season happens, you have the World Baseball Classic. 3 years ago, they made the World Baseball Classic ended in Ohtani striking out Mike Trout for Japan to beat USA in the World Baseball Classic. It was like cinema, dude. It couldn't have got better. And that Tops Now card of that printed to the moon still sells well in a PSA 10. That was a massive moment for baseball. Yep. So you have Ohtani, Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki, the top of their game. They're all going to be playing for Japan, and it looks like a collision course of Japan and USA for a championship matchup again. And that starts the season, dude. Yeah. That's not even the MLB season. That is kicking off the baseball year.
Yeah. Yeah. They do that in every sport, right? And that becomes bigger because it's country versus country, right? Versus instead of team versus team in any sport, and they do it with hockey and they do it with baseball,
right?
It becomes
it's
something
huge.
Big in the sport. Yeah,
it's reminiscent to the basketball Olympics, really. It is that. Mm-hmm. And so I think you're going to have spikes, of you're going to have it just feels like the past 5 years people have been saying, oh, Ohtani's too expensive, I'm going to wait to buy him. And then you continue to do this and he gets more and more expensive. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's just to the moon. I don't necessarily think that, but I think it's safer than a lot of other things you could do. And because I saw someone have this Instagram post about well, what happens if he gets injured and he's out for the season and this that. Okay, so what happens if that happens?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things they talk about. His two-way ability creates increased risks, right?
Yeah. And so when he got Tommy John surgery, Ken, he won the MVP that year as the DH, and he had the first ever 50 home run, 50 stolen base season when he couldn't pitch.
Mm-hmm.
So
but if they decide they just want him to be a designated hitter instead or something like that, does that affect his market? Like if he stops pitching?
So I mean, he kind of like started doing some relief and starts at the end of this last year. So we kind of just like this will be the first year he's going into fully healthy to pitch again. So it's had this crazy uptick, and he kind of just came back like towards middle end of the season to throwing, and you know, it could affect him, but like they're gonna keep pitching him. Like, and another thing too is like when you're that valuable, you don't have to. He doesn't have to be the best pitcher in the league, because also he has like the Dodgers are stacked. Their pitching rotation is so deep. I mean, Yamamoto just won the World Series MVP. He's the other pitcher. He's probably their ace now. He's unbelievable. So I just think if he goes out there and is like a 3 starter or better, middle of the rotation sort of guy, like that's all you need. Because like he had that game where he had like 10 strikeouts and 3 home runs in the same game. It's like no one is doing that, and it's legendary stuff. So like,
so what would you think? And again, this is coming from someone who doesn't watch baseball and doesn't follow baseball. But what would you think? What could happen that would hurt his market? We've talked about all the reasons why his market is so good. So is there what could happen? What if this happened that would hurt his market, or is
something that has already gone away? So I guess I think the one thing that would absolutely ruin him is not injury, is not any of that, is if that gambling thing ever came back up and it was all him and not his translator who had access to his funds. If that was him, that would tarnish him. That would ruin it. But I really don't see anything else. And for all intensive purposes, that's like Ipe is in prison. So it's like, I mean, they would have to reopen it. And I just wonder, like, people in high places have all sorts of money and interest. Like, is Ohtani too big to be brought down for that, even if it was him?
Here comes the conspiracy theory.
I wasn't the only one ever thinking that. I mean, he like essentially, it feels like he revived baseball, man. Like, so I just think, at least with Ohtani, like, if like, so when I'm buying his cards, like I'm buying like I'll buy rookie stuff if I can, but it's just hard to find. So like a lot of times there are these like cool shiny inserts. Let me pull one up that I have here. It's like here we go. 2019 Bowman's Best refractor. Nothing crazy. It's not an insane card, but like I'm picking that sort of stuff up to grade because, like, let's see really quick. If you could kill the air for me while I pull this up.
Yeah, you're talking about the values of it, and I always think back to, I heard Josh from Card Ladder on so many episodes. He bought that $100,000, $120,000. I think it was Michael. It was a Michael Jordan card, right? It was either Jordan or LeBron James. But
I think it was a LeBron.
But then anyways, like 2 years later, he sold it for over $1 million. And at that time, when he bought the card, people told him he was crazy. He was going to lose his shirt on the card. It would never go up from where it was. Like, it was already at an all-time high, so, you can never, nobody knows where the market is going to go and how high it's going to go. Number one. Number two, nobody knows, who's willing to pay what for a card. And I think that's really what it comes down to. If you have a card that somebody really wants, and everybody has a price on a card, and if you put that price on it and somebody's willing to pay it, then good for both of you, because one guy got what he wanted for the card and the other guy got the card he wanted.
Absolutely. And so that card, it's like a $20-$30 card, and in a 10 it's sold recently at $130 and $175. So it's just like it's stuff like that like. And what's great about it too is it's like there's a demand there. It will sell, like, and it will sell with like good because it's Ohtani. It's a second-year refractor, and it's just like there's stuff like that I love doing, because you'll find like these cool looking inserts of him, in value boxes still. You will for $1 to $3, and you can grade them and you can make a decent chunk of money on it, and it's Ohtani. So it's like it just gives it some validity. I'll do that with Judge too. So like with both of those guys, I'll do that with Ohtani and Judge. So
and when you're digging through that, I mean, I don't think you're going and grabbing base cards, right? You're just grabbing. What are you looking for when you're pulling out when you're pulling those cards out of discount boxes?
Something that catches your eye, like so. When it comes to like grading that sort of stuff of Ohtani, I almost think about like if I was buying singles on a Whatnot stream, and what would a cool Ohtani card that just pops up and catches my eye? It doesn't have to necessarily be shiny. Like what if it was a cool like a cool design? You know what I mean? Or something like that. That's kind of what I'd look for. I'm trying to see if I have any like here. Oh yeah, this is from, was this 25 or 24? This is from 2024 Topps. It's like a sun refractor.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a $15 card. I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what it sells for in a 10, but I'm gonna grade it. That's like kind of how, like it just because how it looks and that it's cool and it's Ohtani. Like I've had Topps like or his cards like that. Like the guy had like it was similar to that card. It was like the same set of 2024 Topps. And it was green at a like $4.99 foil. And I graded it, and I think it did like $200, and I couldn't believe it. You know, and it's just like, I don't even remember where
because it's Ohtani and it's a PSA 10, right?
Yeah, and it's numbered and it's whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you know, if that's there for the taking, why not take it? Yeah. Why not take that opportunity with it's kind of the same thing, Ken, is like a lot like I almost took the view that I have of Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan and just applied it to Ohtani with like the sort of card. Like if you gem any playing days card of Kobe or Jordan, you're pretty much getting a nice premium off of whatever the card costs raw. Doesn't matter really what it is, you know. With them, they're the full extent where you can just have random base cards of them that are, you know what I mean? It's like $1 card raw, and then in a 10, it's like $100. You know, like you have some crazy examples for them. It's not necessarily there with Ohtani, but
you get to a point with those in that market where those cards just aren't available anymore, right? And if they are available, they're going to grade very poorly.
Yep.
You know, at what point with the Ohtani with these cards do you think it comes to a point where they're either not worth buying or they're just not available in these boxes anymore? Or do you think there's so many cards printed that
they're still making them? He's still playing. Probably play
I understand, but I'm talking about previous cards because you're going back and buying like a year, 2 years.
It goes back to like 2018, right? Yeah. So I think he has some Japanese cards called BBM from the Japanese league, and those go back to like 2013. Those are probably way harder to find. Like, you know, it'd be like if you came across a Josh Allen or a Lamar Jackson or a Baker, you'll still find those rookie cards that you could grade. You'll still find them.
Yeah.
You know, the better parallel ones, probably not. But with Ohtani, like, I just think to me, the year doesn't even really matter, if I'm going to be honest with you. It really doesn't. It really doesn't matter. The difference of the year to me is just what it's going to cost for me to acquire the raw card. Like the older it gets, and
I think they have a pretty high gem rate, right?
Well, that's the thing. People can go and
these cards,
and they can go and look, and you know that's what's great about Card Ladder. Let me pull up. Let me share this one more time, just so people could understand. Alrighty, here we go. So, let me share this tab instead, since we're talking Ohtani. Let's look at this card that I talked about before, the Gold Refractor at a 50. Let's see the pop on it. So this is a card number to 50. And for PSA population, there are 12 10s. There are 10 9s and 2 8s. Oh my gosh, there's a black label of this. Oh my God. So and for BGS, there's a black label, 2 9.5s and 2 9s. So I mean, like, you could take any you could take any card that's a PSA 10. If you just go on, I mean, you go in PSA or you go to Card Ladder, and if it's a SLAD card, it'll have that little pop notification on the sale. You can click on it and do a little data. Like there are definitely some rookie cards of his that have like a well above a 50% gem rate. That like it's a calculated risk. Yeah. I mean, and you know what's crazy about his stuff, man? The 9s you get a nice bump on. So it. Like what? Then when you do the math,
the 9's not the same as a raw card.
No, not for him. They are for some people, but I think that's a whole nother discussion, right? Of 9s versus raw. I think it's part of that of like 9 versus raw is also the demand of the card. Like if there's not really a demand for a raw or a 9 of a player, like they're not like the biggest player, why would you pay up on a 9? What's the point if there's just the demand's not there?
Do me a favor. So you just pulled up a card that was numbered to 50, and you gave us the pop count on that, right? You held up another one earlier, and you showed that card. Can you find the pop count on that card? That card that you held up, and that was I think that was an insert, right? From
20. It's just a refractor of so Ohtani. 1 second here. Ohtani Bowman Best 2019 refractor PSA 10. It's literally just think of like a Mahomes whatever your Prism Silver card.
Yeah.
And then let me share. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. Look at this. I didn't even know this. Look at that gem rate right there. Oops, sorry. It's a 70% gem rate on this card.
Yeah. And that was a 2019.
2019. That's a second year. And this is, And let's pull up the sales.
I mean, with gem rates that high, I mean, it's it's almost a no-brainer to be plucking those out of boxes and sending them in.
Sales seem a little varied, but I don't. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, this one seems like why would someone just? Then we're not going to get into that, but a best. So the last two go for 130 and 175, and someone accepts an offer at 66. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the hobby for you. But no. My goal is
that's a whole other episode. How believable are those?
Yeah. Right? My goal is not to sell that card for $66. It's the 130 to 175, right? And again, there's also sort of like there's brands that are going to grade better for like Panini. Like that mosaic stuff every year seems to just grade really well. The finish on the front looks great and it's like really solid. You know what I mean? Like I rarely see like scratches in the front. If anything, they're like dings in the back. But for Topps, man, it just seems like Topps, Chrome, Bowman. I mean, Bowman will have its printing issues, but like they're the same issues. If that makes sense. They're like roller marks or like print lines that are faint. Bowman's Best, kind of similar thing. Like they're the same print line. So if they're not there, they're not there. But that's a perfect example of the math card that's just like 70%. You know. I'm happy it was that way and worked that way because that would have been funny if I'm saying all this and it was like, yeah, it's a 1% gem rate. It's like, well, I tried.
But you and I, you've been doing this a while, and you and I have talked a while, and you're always sending me pictures of these cards that are all gemming, and a lot of them are inserts or refractors and things like that they do very well, which makes me believe that those cards, when they were produced pretty well. You know, even we talk about the Bowman University cards that are at such a high gem rate, and you look at them and you're like, oh, they're not. But you send them in, and a lot of them come back 10s, right? So
that still blows my mind.
There's things that PSA just overlooks on those cards to say that we're not gonna judge that card on this or that or something else. So.
Yep, and again, that goes. You got to know the set, right? You got to know the set of what's acceptable and what's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Ohtani, man, I just think there's the thing about his market, which is kind of cool, is like you can dabble in it at a ton of price points, like the lower end. And then like another example that I talked about this card a few weeks back, or maybe a couple months back. It was a It was from 2024 Cosmic. Cosmic's like my favorite set, by the way. But 2024 Cosmic, and it's Extraterrestrial Talent. It's an insert. And it was the green space dust parallel out of 75, which is like this really cool green, like sparkly thing. And there were two sales that were going off as I'm trying to buy this raw card from this person. There was a sale for $108 in like early October. And then there was a PSA 10 after he had his crazy run of it in like late November, early December. And the PSA 10 did $805. Okay, so that's crazy. I bought this raw card for $200, which is double comps, double true comps, double the raw comps. But obviously there's a crazy market shift. So I got the card in, looked really good. I sent it out to grade. We'll see what it gets. And since I've sent it out, would you believe a PSA 10 copy sold for $950?
Nice.
So it's just like,
and what was the gem rate on that card?
Oh, that's a great question. Dude, I didn't even look. It's just like when there are certain cards that have like, if I just like how they look, I'll get them. And this was
I look at that a lot now when I'm buying cards or I'm looking for cards.
Oh, this is fantastic. This is fantastic. This card that I paid $200 for, it recently sold. Well, the 2025 version, the newer version, sold for $222. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I look a lot at gem rates too. If I'm buying cards, if I see it's a really low gem rate, I'm like, you know what? I might as well just buy the 10. Right. If I want to own the card or I believe in the card or the player or whatever. But if it's got a 50% or better gem rate on it, then I will consider, grading a couple of the cards and trying to get my own 10.
It is a 30% gem rate on the card that I got. So we'll see if the odds are in my favor. They're not, but we'll see see how it works out. But yeah, like, so if you're objectively looking at it, like, that's something I should have researched more. But I bought like 3 cards in a lot. I bought that Ohtani card, and then Connor Griffin, if we're talking baseball, he's the number 1 prospect in baseball, who is just an absolute physical freak, and he's on the Pirates. So I got 2 of his first refractor cards, just not an auto, just first refractor, and I paid like $45 a piece on them. I think I sold them both for like 65 to 70 each. And then and
it's interesting to hear that, right, from like a football, somebody who's in the football lane, right, in the hobby, like, it's like, oh, he's the hottest. Yeah, I bought it for 40 and sold it for 60. I'm like, wait, what? Because in my mind, I'm thinking I bought it for 40 and sold it for 200 or 150 or 1.
Well, those were just raw flips over that was like a 2-week change of just raw.
Which is great, which is absolutely great. And I mean, if you could do that all day long, why wouldn't you? But in my mind, I'm thinking a hot rookie, right? Or the hottest rookie, like you just said, I would think that market would be so much higher. This is why baseball is the baseball market and the hobby is so confusing to me, because even guys that are the hot young talent, right? And you have even the first Bowmans, the cards they sit there so low, and it takes like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years before these things are ready to really turn a big profit. Like, if you want to get the short-term profit, like the 10 or 20 or $30, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. But if you want to turn a bigger profit, you've got to sit on those cards for a good amount of time. And I almost want to compare that now to what I do with the women's basketball, the college basketball, right? Because they're coming in, they're freshmen and sophomores, they're getting their first cards, but you have to wait till they're seniors before they're,
Yeah, let's talk about that, because as I pulled up a card, because like with the women's stuff too, though, you get, if you want to like make a big number off of a card, you have to get one of the bigger cards. You have to, right? So like Connor Griffin, and like when you're holding, how long are you holding some of these women's cards? Because I have a good example here of a card of his that's not even a true red. So I have his first Bowman autograph, Connor Griffin, out of 5, PSA 10. It's the red X-Fractor, so not a true red. A true red would go way higher. So when Bowman draft came out, probably we'll call it January, February of 2025, that Bowman, that his 2020, I'm sorry. No, that's correct. His 2024 Bowman draft came out late 2024 or early 2025. There's been 2 sales of this card, and they're different serial numbers, but the first PSA 10 of this red X-Fractor first auto did $7,000 May 2025. It sold 5 days ago, January 18th, since he's had this crazy ascension. What do you think that card sold for now? And it's not the true.
What was the original price?
7,000.
7,000.
Yeah.
And now he's had this big run up, right?
He's the number 1 prospect in baseball, like consensus.
12.5.
22.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's not the true. The true, I don't even know if there's a true red. The true would be some absurd number, to be honest with you. You know, you have that opportunity, and that's like 8 months of a hold, May to now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 8 or is that less? 5? No, it's like 8. So I mean, that's not a crazy long hold for that return, right?
No,
it's just like that's so like when people are always talking like, I know you've heard me mention it when I talk about the true colors and the things like that. If you can get a gold auto or better of a guy, it can do that, right? But like, for example, I know because I graded all of them, like or not all of them, but a bunch of them, and it was disappointing. Was like, we're talking about the Bowman Chrome U. You know, you gem a Silasord Sapphire first card, and it's like $30 in a PSA 10. You know, if I gemmed that refractor card, that if I gemmed, would have been significant.
But those are the cards that I talk about, that all you have to do is get those in March. And if Silas Swords has a couple really great games in March, that $30 card now can go up to $80 to $100. I mean, that's what the play is right there.
Yeah.
And at some point it will be, you know, that way with some of them. When it comes to a lot of these other cards, anything gold, you know, gold to 50 auto and below, I'm keeping. Anything numbered below that, I'll hang on to, you know, longer term. But anything not numbered or over that 99 or higher, I mean, there's just an abundance of you know, and you check the pop counts and you see where they are. But a lot of those cards, you know, you could sell in March and buy it back in May and June, right?
Absolutely.
And hold it and sell it again the following March, because
absolutely.
You know.
And for reference on that card, if I was able to grade that card that I bought for 45 and flipped for 70 in a 10, the last 3 was 215, 230, and 205. And that's what you'd expect, right? Like with the new silver prism of an NFL guy, and you gem them, and they're like,
And how long would you have to wait for that, right? Would it have been worth your time, you know, sending it to grading, wait for it to come back?
Yeah. And God knows what happens with a prospect like that if they get called up and they bust like Jackson Holiday did like previous year. It could be tough. Absolutely. And that's just why I think like. But also, like, for the person who right now bought that card for $22,000, by the time spring training comes around and when he gets called up, could do crazy numbers. You know, could just do crazy numbers. So,
but it's high risk, high reward too, right? Could go the opposite way too.
Sure is. So when it comes like prospecting, especially at Bowman, is a lot of risk. When you are like. If you're the top guy though, like across the board, he's like the most agreed upon number 1 prospect there has been like ever maybe. There's some built-in security where like he may be able to have like a slower start or like a blunder than like some other prospects have. Like he's a top 20 prospect on the top 100 in MLB, is Josue DePaula for the Dodgers. And I have his true blue autograph out at PSA. He would have a shorter leash. Like if he just started out cold, or if he got called up and just wasn't ready for it, which he's not going to get called up right away anyways. But there's certain tiers to the prospecting too, where like it is risky, don't get me wrong, but like there's just different levels of risk with it.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's your play now? I mean, same thing, just plucking these because you seem to be doing very well finding these baseball prospects. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it it's fun. There's some other like content I listen to around it. It's also though like if you don't love baseball,
it's hard.
it's kind of tough to do. It is. It's kind of tough to do. And if you don't understand what these numbers mean for and how they impact and but if you do enjoy it, there's some real opportunity there.
Mm.
So
Do you ever feel that I mean sometimes in the hobby I get like a little upset, right? Because I know like I go down the rabbit hole with football.
yeah.
I mean, way down the rabbit hole with everything. And then I'll get to shows and stuff, and people will show up and they won't know anything about the player, but they'll just be looking on their phone at the comp and then doing that and be like, oh, will you take this for that or this for that? But they know nothing about it. And I'm almost like, I want to say no, like you don't deserve that card. Like you don't know anything about that player, right? And you think like, and I almost think like you, like I'm talking to you and you go down some rabbit holes on these guys and you listen to a lot of content and you know who you're looking for and you know when you show up at a show, you know who you're buying, you're well prepared, right? Where if I showed up at a show and you said, oh, Ken, you should be buying baseball, like you said to me at the last Mohegan show, and every time you walked away, somebody'd be like, are you buying baseball? I'd be like, no, but my guy is who just left, right? Because I don't know who I'm looking for. But I guess if I went down that rabbit hole like I do with football, like I'd be like, yeah, these are the list of guys I'm looking for. If you have them, I'll look at those cards, right? So that's why sometimes I feel like I don't want to do a disservice to that lane in the hobby by sitting here saying I know what I'm doing or I have a list of 5 guys that I'll buy or things like that because I really don't. I have no idea, and I could hurt myself. There's a lot more room for me to hurt myself, like buying the wrong card or prospecting the wrong player than there would be to, turn a small profit on those.
Yeah, I think when it comes to like if I were you, like as a dealer and it wasn't my lane, but like I was curious and never wanted to dabble into it, there's like 4 names off the top of my head that are like fairly safe that I would like feel okay like buying and selling. It would be Ohtani, Judge, Bobby Witt Jr., and Paul Skeens. Like those 4 guys I would buy and sell with confidence and understand they're gonna come in and move pretty quick.
Yeah. And any of those on like when you're digging those 4 names. So when you're digging in these boxes, you're pulling like any of the refractors or the inserts or something cool looking. Any of those guys, or that's pretty much the Ohtani lane, and those guys, the other guys need to be something a little up on the hierarchy of the.
So if I was like to rank it in like how much I would buy of those guys of just like lower end stuff for that upside, like definitely Ohtani's first, not even a question, then Judge, then Skeens, then Witt. Mm-hmm. And the Ohtani and Judge are way above the Skeens and Witt of what I'd be willing to buy. But like But like they'll still sell. That's the thing is like the Witt and the Skeens will still sell like regardless. It's just you're not like the amount of upside on the PSA 10 on those 2 guys compared to Ohtani and Judge, just it's not there. Yeah. Well, some with Skeens because like this last year with Skeens, it was the second year cards and those have sold really well actually. But with Witt, if it wasn't going to be a rookie card, I would I'd want it to be like some significant insert or a numbered parallel or something like that. Yeah.
Nice.
But Witt was a rookie in 2022, so you still find his rookie cards all over the place.
I can't tell you how many of his cards I graded. I got into. I thought he was 2021.
22.
Was his first Bowman 2020?
His first Bowman was 2020.
2020. So that's when I started. That's when I got back in. I started ripping baseball. Jason Dominguez was
that class. Yep.
Yeah, it was that class. And then sending all those cards to grading and coming back and being so disappointed that the coming back 10 and you're like, oh, I gemmed the card, this beautiful, and then realizing the card's not hardly worth anything, and And then you say sold too soon. I probably sold 5 years too soon. I probably
Yeah.
should have put those things in the closet and just left them there. Right. Jason, he never did any, he never really, I mean, his market, I don't know if he's still waiting to be good.
He's so his top's Chrome rookies in 2024. He's battled injuries. He's been a little underwhelming. He's still on the Yankees though. Like he'll still get a shot.
Yeah.
He's still young. I mean, he was 18 in 2020. So,
Yeah.
but Witt, like he was starting in 2022, man. So like he wasn't really a long wait. You know what I mean? That's 2 years. It's not crazy. But yeah, Bowman's fun. It's also like I do all this research and like I watch all these videos and I still feel like I never know enough.
Yeah.
And I do all this research. So to the point where it's like a lot of times I feel like it's not more, the card isn't more important than the prospect, but like if you can really get to one of those true colors, there's still going to be desire for like, even if you're going to lose money on it, like that card could still be sellable because someone's like, oh, it's a true gold of so-and-so. Well, I'll take a flyer on it. You know what I mean? Even if they're going to like fail out forever, like you'll be able to move that sort of card still. So I don't know. It's fun. It's risky, but I try to, when I'm buying like the nicer autos of these guys, I really try to make sure like it's a prospect that has, maybe not that I believe in, but it has an archetype of their player profile that you can believe in.
Yeah. And their season is so long too. Just like, so, in football, there's such a short season. Like you really have to show out, early and often, in football if you want. Whereas baseball, it's such a long season. It goes on and on and on.
Yeah. Yep.
Spring, summer, fall.
Yeah, you wouldn't. NFL roster could not make 162 games. Oh my God, you'd have deaths. You literally have deaths. That would be awesome, But yeah, it is a longer season, and it's a different. To that respect, though, like you can also see way more of players that you're going to invest on. Like we think about how crazy it is. We judge these quarterbacks off of the few like real times we get to watch them of like how many weeks versus like and when I say weeks, it's once a week. When you say weeks in baseball, it's literally weeks of seeing these guys day to day. So it's,
Yeah. And some of these rookies, they only get a couple shots. Like you get a start for 2 or 3 games. And if you look terrible, that's it. Throw you back at on the bench and put somebody else in. Right.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there's a lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. They see that many injuries in baseball like they have in football, or probably not as major. You're probably not out season.
Not as major. Yeah, not as major as football. But like they have like I think they have a 10-day, a 15-day, and like a 60-day IL, like the injured list. So yeah. But I mean, I feel like for baseball, like the most common injuries you'll see is like pitchers with Tommy John, but like like hitters, like they'll have weird injuries pop up. And the thing about playing every day like that is like they'll nag. Like you never, there's not really time off to get healthy for baseball. Like you have these guys who have like something that's been nagging them since May and it's September. Like because so it's
never let it heal.
Yeah. It's different. It's just different. But
Yeah. I was into hockey like many years, like growing up and all the way probably into my 30s. Like I would watch every season and it just got to be, I was just so tired. It got to be so much, or watching games like almost every night. And, that's when, I don't know at what year they came out, where the NHL package where you could buy it and you could watch, all the games. You had your choice of all the different games, so you could watch your team and stuff like that. But it just got so tiring. And once I, really was, and I was watching football too. So once I really, honestly, when I got into the fantasy part of football, that drove me away from hockey and 100% into football, because I just found there was that added, element of fun and, that I lost interest in watching the hockey. I would just watch the playoffs in hockey, but I couldn't watch a season anymore in hockey.
Yeah. I mean, football has just done such a great job of just captivating people because, like, I feel like with all streaming services now, there's like I don't even have cable anymore because I just everything's streamed, dude. So it's
Yeah.
just like,
Nobody has cable anymore.
but like like when I was growing up, like there used to be like, oh, got to be home for 8 p.m. because the show is coming on, of this series I'm watching. That's like football now. Like that's like what we have, and it still captivates everyone that in that way of like. I remember when I was little growing up, it was like Survivor. Like I loved watching Survivor, and
But you can watch all those shows on the off nights. Like, I mean, I record or whatever, DVR or just, whether it's on a streaming service.
yeah,
But okay, so we got football on Sunday and Sunday night, and then Monday night and Thursday night. Well, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, I could watch all my other shows, right?
yeah,
Or back when I was
gap,
watching hockey, I
yeah.
couldn't watch all those other shows. It was
Right, every night. Exactly. The gap for football is perfect too because it gives you just enough of a break to where you want to watch it again, even if it's some crappy Thursday night football matchup. Like of Browns and Titans. You'll still be like, I'm gonna watch it. So
because I got a parlay on the game.
Yeah.
And I got two guys on my fantasy team playing.
Ken's like, both I have defensive touchdowns here. It's a good that'd be a great defensive touchdown bet game. Those two. Yeah.
Speaking of football, we're coming to the end of this episode. It is Friday. Games are Sunday. AFC NFC championship game. Yep. I mean, when we started this, I said Patriots and Rams, right? So my two teams should still go there.
Definitely the Patriots should.
I'm more worried about the Rams now because I think Seahawks are playing. Sam Darnold's playing better than I thought. I thought he'd be gone by now, but they seem to be playing well. But I'm going to stick with my two teams going to the Super Bowl. What's your thought? What say you, sir?
I forgot what I picked, but I remember saying that I kept saying I think an NFC West team will make it, and I was inferring the Seahawks.
Yeah,
I think
you had the Bills.
I think I had the Bills and the Seahawks. Yeah.
Yep.
I think you're right. Yeah. So I like the Seahawks honestly all the way. Like I
think the NFC wins the Super Bowl this year.
I agree. I didn't want to be a jerk and be like, I feel like the NFC game is the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean it's
because the winner's gonna win, in my opinion. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know for sure. Anything can happen, but
no.
I just think the NFC had some strong teams this year compared to the AFC. And look, Patriot fans in my house. I can't say my friends. Most of my friends are Bills fans, and they're mad at me because I told them they were going to lose and not make it to the Super Bowl. But I mean, at this point, I would root for the Patriots, even if they went to the Super Bowl. I'd be rooting for them. But I just still think that NFC, whoever goes from the NFC is probably going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Seahawks Rams had that crazy overtime game too.
Like it's going to be a good game.
They're as good of a matchup as I think you can get in the NFL, to be honest. Those two, they match up crazy good. Yeah. It's also a nice little Cooper Cup revenge playoff game. I know he's played them twice already, but that's still there. It'd also be nice to see this. Here, how about this, Ken? The Seahawks win. What does that do for Sam Darnold? Because then he has back-to-back 14-plus win regular seasons, and then he wins the Super Bowl after being cast off as some misfit.
You know what? I'd be happy for him.
It's a great fan base too, man. Yeah, they're crazy.
And it's funny, some of his cards coming out of the woodwork now. If you've been to some shows lately, and you're like, oh, wait a minute, is that a Sam Darnold RPA in a Jets uniform in somebody's case? You're like, whoa, where did this come from, right? Yeah. And so it's interesting. I mean, I'd be happy. He was a product of the Jets, and he failed like most players that go to the Jets, and he was able to go somewhere else.
What's funny about the Seahawks? They had Geno Smith too, another failed product of the Jets.
Yeah, and they both went to Seattle.
Yep, yeah. That's what I was just thinking. I was like, oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I think I'm pulling for the Seahawks to win. I actually love watching this Patriots team play. They're super fun. But like, I'm just like, I feel like it's too early for Drake May to win.
It might be, or they could be another young quarterback that's on the rise. You never know. I mean, he could have magic. I mean, you watch him play. I mean, he looks really good. I mean, he looks good. He looks good, and if they won the Super Bowl, he would be very deserving, right? Yeah. I just think the team, the offense, the defense, the personnel. I mean, even Matthew Stafford on the other end. So the Rams win. Here's another one. Like, I mean, he's been a great quarterback his whole career.
If he wins the Super Bowl, I think he's out.
Yeah, he'll be done. I think either way this year, I think he might be at the end of his career.
So that's interesting too, because if he moves on, that's like the most appealing free agent quarterback spot by far
for the Rams.
Yeah. You, dude. Like, now I'm just talking crazy, but like, imagine Joe Burrow forces a trade out of Cincinnati.
Well, if you remember too, the Rams put themselves in trouble with draft picks a few years back, where they gave up a lot of draft picks and stuff really didn't work out as well as it did. And then what they had to draft with, they're drafting the Puka Nacua, and they really did well with their draft picks and has really revamped that team. So they're. I think they've come a long way, and I think they're probably this will be a big hurrah for them, because I think they'll probably start losing some players along the way. So if they don't win it this year, I don't think Matthew Stafford would come back. I would think he would think this is probably the end.
Yeah, I would say then I mean, it just makes sense to go off in the sunset. What are you going to play for? I mean, he barely made it to this season, right? Remember the reports? It was like,
thought he was going to be on
crazy like chamber outside of like the stadium that he was in, some like looked like an Airstream. He just comes out and he's the MVP. Whatever that is, I don't know if you drug test for that or you have to give him kryptonite or something. I don't know what it was, but I mean, he's like, I feel bad, but like the only team I wouldn't want to see win is the Broncos. Like, but if they had Nix, I'd been like, okay, cool.
Yeah, Bo Nix was there. I'd have been like, yeah, let's do it. And I said on my solo, I said I really thought this year was going to be the year of May Nix. They start this rivalry that would carry on, like the Manning Brady rivalry for years to come. But it's not going to happen this year. I think we would have seen an amazing game.
Absolutely. And what's funny is I think we have a good conversation after this week, regardless of, is this 2024 class what all of us in the hobby like imagine the 2020 class would be?
Or the 2021, right? 2021, we thought that class was going to be great too. 6 quarterbacks that came out of that class.
Well, that was a dumpster fire compared to 2020.
Fell apart. Yeah.
But like, think about the pedigree of the 2020 guys, and then you're like, well, this 2024 class is actually doing it.
And their prices on those cards, I think, I haven't looked them up, but I think those 2020 guys' prices are still higher than these 2024 guys, card-wise, because the market was so high and people spent so much money on these cards that, they held them and didn't sell them and kept the market high.
Yeah, well, I think maybe we look into that next week going to the Super Bowl. But for Drake May, I do have that. I mentioned it at like an hour and a half mark. So a lot of people might not have heard that with the CBA. I have the Onyx out of 50 on-card green Drake May auto. It's like it's not actually serial numbered. It says in the back green copies numbered to 50. But I spent money on an Onyx auto that I never thought I would. Like, And honestly, I got a great deal on it because the non-number did like $250, and I think in the deal I got it for like $180. It was like a strange deal that just came about, and it was in a lot. But I don't know what that card will do. I have no clue because that card, the non-number just sold for like $250. I have no idea what to expect for that thing.
This week's the week. Sell it.
Oh, I mean, PC needs to put it up and we're good to go because I have that and then a white mosaic Tyler Warren auto at a 25, which is cool. It's like the color match with the Colts, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, right now on auction, I have 4 Travion Henderson autographs and then a gold RJ Harvey mosaic. Yeah. So
yeah, he's got a bright career too. RJ Harvey, he's a good player.
He does. He looks very good.
Yeah. All right, kid, we're at the 1 hour mark. Well, after we did the hour and 40.
Yeah, no, we're gonna wrap it up here.
Yeah, we gotta shorten it up a bit, tighten the leash.
Yep.
But look, if my trip doesn't happen, then you'll get this episode, and you'll get me another episode of me next week. If not, it'll be you're getting this episode this week and nothing to the following week. So that's the best I can say at this point.
All right, Ken. Hasta la vista.
Hopefully I go. I'm hoping, man.
If not, you're gonna have to shoot some. It'd be because you have the Connect flight in JFK.
I do.
You should have some you should do like some short form content if you get stuck at JFK. Maybe they'll have.
All I'll do is just film my wife. I told you we should have canceled this thing.
Maybe they'll have a kiosk for you guys to rip. I know there's like those card kiosks everywhere. Maybe they'll have some wax for you. Maybe. In case of downtown.
All right. Well, hopefully you survive the storm and
getting my Jeep back after 2 months, so I'll be able to get out of my house if I need to.
There you go, kid. All right. I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank everyone for listening. Please like, please subscribe. And we'll be back soon with a brand new episode. Zip, have a good weekend.
See you later.